Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving headfirst into the fascinating, incredibly complex, and, let's be honest, notoriously volatile world of digital currencies. If you've been seeing the headlines about people making overnight fortunes, or maybe you're just wondering why everyone keeps throwing around the word blockchain, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Our goal today is simple. We're going to cut right through all the media hype and give you a clear, totally unbiased look at how this technology actually works behind the scenes. Here is our quick roadmap for today. First, what is crypto? Second, the blockchain. Third, investing in wallets. Fourth, pros and risks. And finally, crypto versus CBDCs. All right, let's jump right into section 1. What exactly is crypto? Let's cover the digital money basics. To really kick things off, we've got to ask the million-dollar question. Is this digital asset actually a functioning form of money? Well, if you ask central banks, the short answer right now is no, it isn't. You see, to be considered true money, an asset has to be a widely accepted means of payment, a completely stable store of value, and a common unit of account. Because of the extreme price fluctuations we see in crypto, you can't reliably price everyday goods in something like Bitcoin. I mean, very few of us are out there using it to buy our morning coffee, right? And this brings us to a massive fundamental difference. Traditional fiat money, like the US dollar, is centralized. It relies entirely on central banks to print it and back its value. Cryptocurrency, on the other hand, is completely decentralized. It was specifically designed to be totally free from government control, relying purely on complex computer cryptography and a peer-to-peer network to secure your transactions. It's a whole different ballgame. Moving right along to Section 2, the blockchain. This is the absolute engine room of the whole operation. Okay, think of the blockchain like a giant, public notebook owned by a guy named Bob. Imagine Bob writes down every single transaction that happens. Once it's written down, it's permanently locked in. It literally cannot be erased or changed. But here is the genius part. It's not just Bob. Everyone on the entire network has an exact, continuously updated copy of this exact same notebook. So if Bob tries to get sneaky and alter his copy, everyone else's notebook instantly proves him wrong, and the fake transaction gets rejected. It's basically a chain of these locked transaction blocks, hence the name, blockchain. So how does a transaction actually flow in the real world? Say Alice wants to send some crypto to Bob. She sends her instructions to the network, and her transaction gets grouped together with a bunch of others into a block. Now, specialized computers all over the world, these are called miners, compete against each other to solve incredibly complex cryptographic puzzles just to validate it. The winner adds the block to the chain and gets rewarded with brand new cryptocurrency. It's an incredibly secure system, but it requires a massive amount of computing power. To put that into perspective, the annual energy consumption of just the Bitcoin network is roughly equal to the entire country of Thailand. Crazy, right? All right, Section 3, investing and crypto wallets. Let's talk about the market and how you actually store this stuff. Now, you've probably heard of Bitcoin, which kind of acts as the original digital gold and actually has a strict cap of 21 million coins. But the market has evolved way beyond just that one coin. We now have smart contract platforms like Ethereum and Solana, which basically act as global decentralized computers for developers to build on. And to combat crypto's infamous volatility, we even have stablecoins like Tether. These are tokens uniquely designed to be pegged directly to traditional currencies like the US dollar, keeping things, well, stable. When it comes to storing these digital assets, you're looking at a pretty stark trade-off. Remember, crypto is literally just data. You aren't storing physical coins, you're just storing the private digital keys that prove you own them. You could use a hot wallet, which stays connected to the internet. It's super convenient for quick trading, but it definitely leaves you vulnerable to cyber attacks. Or you could go with a cold wallet. That's a physical, offline device, kind of like a secure USB drive. It's virtually immune to hackers, but as you can imagine, it's way less convenient for everyday use. To really understand the ultimate danger of essentially being your own bank with these offline wallets, just consider the incredibly tragic case of James Howells. He accidentally had an old hard drive thrown away by his ex. That offline cold wallet contained the private cryptographic keys to 8,000 bitcoins. And because there is absolutely no central authority in crypto, meaning no customer service hotline you can call to reset your password, those coins are literally lost in a landfill forever. Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, pros, cons, and risks. It's time for a bit of a reality check. 13,000%. Yes, you heard that right. That staggering number represents the return an investor would have seen if they bought Bitcoin at $500 back in 2016 and held onto it until it hit $60,000 in 2024. It's exactly returns like this that generate such massive media hype and draw millions of people into the market, all hoping to build wealth overnight. But listen, big returns absolutely mean big risks. Just look at this number, a 65% drop. That is exactly what happened to Bitcoin's total value in just a few short months during 2022. You have to remember that crypto prices are largely driven by sheer speculation, media narratives, and basic supply and demand, rather than underlying business earnings like you'd see with a traditional stock. Now, trying to be completely impartial here, the benefits of this technology are pretty undeniably disruptive. Complete decentralization means no government can arbitrarily devalue your asset just by printing more of it. Plus, it offers global financial access to literally anyone with an internet connection, completely bypassing slow banking infrastructure. It operates seamlessly, 24/7 across borders, and it offers a very unique layer of privacy. However, those exact same features, they create massive vulnerabilities. That layer of privacy makes it a known hotspot for money laundering. And the irreversible nature of the blockchain we talked about earlier means that if you accidentally send funds to a scammer, or honestly even just type in the wrong wallet address by mistake, the money is gone forever. There is zero consumer protection to save you. Add in the wild price volatility and constantly looming government regulations, and it really remains a highly speculative environment. Finally, let's look at Section 5, Crypto versus CBDCs. We are talking about the future of money here. While traditional governments definitely aren't just sitting still while all this happens, enter the CBDC, or central bank digital currency. This is essentially the traditional banking sector looking at blockchain technology and co-opting it for themselves. It is quite literally a digital form of a nation's cash, but it's issued, backed, and tightly regulated directly by a central bank. When you stack them up side by side, the core differences are actually pretty striking. Cryptocurrency is completely decentralized, wildly volatile, and accepted by a relatively small number of retailers. A CBDC is the exact opposite of that. It's completely centralized by the government, it's given legal tender status so it has universal acceptance, and it is specifically designed for absolute price stability. So we're basically watching a real-time battle for the future of money right in front of us. Will decentralized, borderless cryptocurrency successfully bypass traditional banks for good? Or will governments successfully fight back and dominate with their own tightly controlled digital cash? It is a fascinating evolution to watch, and understanding the mechanics behind it, like we did today, is honestly the best way to prepare for whatever comes next. Keep questioning the systems around you, and thank you so much for joining us for this explainer.